Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rutnika and this is Natural Vibrations. Today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about twin flames and what it is to be in a twin flame relationship and a little bit about my journey, because I feel that if we don't share with others, then people are not going to really know about it, and people who are just awakening won't really understand what is going on in their life. So this is just me sort of sharing my journey. I learned about twin flames, or at least the name twin flames, when I was in my relationship, my previous relationship of 4 5 years ago. And the person I was with was very into the concept of divine love and twin flames and aliens and angels and whatever. I wasn't really into all of that at the time. In fact, I was very anti the whole concept. But he mentioned the term twin flames, and I did do a little bit of a research on it just to understand what he was talking about. And the stuff I found at that point was different. I guess is what I needed to know at that point. And I I actually thought maybe we were in this divine love, because he used to talk about it so much. He used to talk about love and these really broad concepts of what a relationship should be, where there is no attachment and all of that. The funny part is that was the worst relationship of my life. In fact, I realize now that okay, so he was abusive. He was verbally and mentally and emotionally abusive. There was a lot of push and pull. He basically brought out the worst things about me, the worst qualities I had. It was when I was around him, I was jealous. I was very concerned about what our future was. I was very insecure, and I guess that what happens in most abusive relationship, that your self-esteem gets really fucked. Excuse my language. And because of that, you don't really you don't really think you can get out of it, and you don't think that there is a future out of this, and you start thinking that this is what you accept and this is what you deserve. Sorry. And that's kind of what happened to me. And I kept thinking I was in this divine love, and it was meant to be. But now when I think back about it, he had no idea what twin flame love was. He saw a few videos and he got into this whole concept. So he was actually a false twin. For me at least, I don't know what he thinks about it, but I don't talk to him about these things. In fact, I would rather not have this person in my life ever again. But for me, it was this. I didn't, I was one of those people who was always, where are you? Why aren't you calling me? Why, always waiting for him, wondering. And this concept of him being with anybody else would drive me insane. I was a horrible person, and this person pulled out things in me that I would have never ever wanted to be. If I look back on the kind of person I was then, I would never ever repeat that. I was a horrible human being, if you can, and I can say that now because I've done so much work with it. But that was a false twin. And when I come to realize, when I look back upon it, if a person treats you like shit, and I don't mean that, they're going through their own stuff and it's okay, but there are obviously twin flame relationships are not perfect, and you have the push and pull sometimes, and you're not talking to each other, and the person is not responding to you. Of course, that's not nice, but they're not going out of their way to be very mean to you. They're not being evil. They're not toying with you in an evil way. When a twin flame separation happens, it's not because they don't care for you. I'm sorry for the train. It's not that they don't care for you. It's is that they're going through their own internal battle. And I'm sure this person, false twin, was going through his own set of bullshit. And hopefully over time, they will get better. But there was such meanness, and there was such. It was not something that was necessary. in that moment. There are ways of dealing with things in a non-mean way. So I realized that, like, later on, it took me a lot of energy. Like, I had become fat. I was constantly eating because I was so depressed, and it took me a long time to get out of this situation. And now, a couple of years later, I realized that I don't ever want to be with a person. So I went through this phase where I was like, you know what? For 2 years, I didn't even want to be near anybody, like any human being, any of the opposite sex, because I was so damaged. I thought there was something so wrong with me because this ex put it in my mind that I didn't deserve love, that I wasn't good enough, that I wouldn't get anybody better, and that I was so screwed up that this is the best I could get. And when it took me so long to get out of that situation, I was like, you know what? I'll get myself a dog. I'll make you meet my dog at some point. But I got myself a dog and I started to love myself. I lost weight. I started eating healthy. I started, like, and the whole time I was working and doing everything. But I started truly being my old self, which was this very independent person. And over the years, I realized that I didn't want to be with anybody, because I was just like, what's the point? They're just going to hurt me. And I'm just going to have fun. Because I was in this long relationship or whatever it was for 5 years, but it wasn't fun after a point. So I decided I'll go on Tinder and I'll start, just going on dates. It wasn't even about hookup. It was more about, like, meeting people and talking to them. And after my ex, I decided, I work in music. So I decided I wasn't going to date anybody in that field. I'm not going to, I'm going to try somebody completely opposite who has a normal, boring job and, not from my town, so not everybody knows him and not everybody's gossiping about us and, all of that. And I just started, like, having fun and just talking to people. And that's when I met somebody. And honestly, I was not expecting anything serious. In fact, I just thought it would be, a fling, you have your fun. And by the second or third date, we were, like, officially dating. And it was so different from the first false twin relationship. There was no, when we started, like by the second date we were dating, or third date we were, like, official boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever it was. There was no drama around it. There was not like, oh, I wonder if he likes me. I wonder if he's going to call me. I wonder if he wants to be with me or not. What does this mean? What does this mean? Does he want me? Does he not want me? None of that. It was like, he wants me. I want him. We're done. It was that simple. And I never experienced anything like that. And I honestly thought we had the perfect relationship. It was so amazing. And around the 6-month mark, I was traveling, and I noticed now that I didn't know about law of attraction then. I wasn't into healing. I wasn't into tarot cards. I wasn't, doing any of this. When I met him, just around that time, I had met a friend of mine who does Reiki, and he started, I was like, I'm kind of interested in this. Could you please teach me Reiki? And he started teaching me, but I never really took it seriously. Like, it was just something like, oh, let's learn this, it'll be fun to do it. But it wasn't something that I was so into that I, lived around it. And I didn't really know what law of attraction was. Honestly, I'm not even religious. I'm Hindu by birth, but, I don't even go to temple. I don't really pray. It wasn't anything that I was really, into. And towards the end of before we broke up, I realized that I started having these insecure feelings. But it wasn't that, oh my God, he's going to go with somebody else. It was more like, oh my God, I've started feeling for this person. And it was weird because I was like, I don't know what will happen. And I started being a little needy, I feel. At least that's the energy I was giving out. I don't think I was saying anything, but it was the energy I was giving out. And because it was more about this person wasn't from India and might be leaving, and and then we broke up. It came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it. It was something really ridiculous. And honestly, you hear these signs of twin flame relationships where you get together and then you break up all of a sudden and there's no explanation. That's sort of what happened. We went from being like this to nothing. And then I found out that he said he was suffering from depression and he needed to kind of work on that. And I understood because I had a history of depression as well. But obviously, at that moment, I didn't really know what to do. And so, I mean, I don't want to go too much about what he was doing because it wouldn't be fair to him to talk about him like this. But what I want to talk to you guys about is I noticed that when twin flame relationships happen, firstly, when you meet this person, I didn't know anything about twin flames like that. I didn't really think of it then. It was an instant attraction. We got together really quickly. There was no drama when we first got together. It was like we were meant to be. It was so simple. We were very alike and yet very different. Like we both had the same overall goals and values, but we were very different people. And I actually, now when I look back, I could notice his insecurities as well, which were very similar to mine. So, I mean, obviously, because a twin flame is actually a mirror. So after we broke up, which is basically, it always ends up being like one of those random breakups and you don't expect anything, my twin sort of disappeared. And I've not spoken to him in 2 years. Well, he's not spoken to me in 2 years. Obviously, he was the runner and I was, if you want to call it, a chaser, but I try not to chase. But I realized that I behaved differently. So first, of course, when it happened, I went through my depression phase. It really, made me I started going back into my cycle. I had a history of drinking and, everything. So I started going back into that. And then I'm like, no, I either need therapy or I need help because I can't become that old person again and be miserable over somebody else. That is something I just did not want to be. And I randomly discovered a shamanic festival happening in India. And now that is not something normal. We don't really see shamanic festivals in India. And I was always kind of intrigued by the whole concept of shamans and, Native American culture. So I decided to sign up. And that 4 or 5 day retreat changed my life. I did a sweat lodge. I met loads of different shamans and I did like personal healing sessions with them. We did a lot of learning sessions with them. And I started and I wasn't really into all of this. That's the funny part. And it just started I went with so much noise and clutter in my mind. But when I came back, everything was just quiet. I was at peace, but when it came to my energy for my ex, it was still very lost. And then one of the shamans and I kind of really got along and he took me under his wing. And then he started teaching me what he knew about healing. And by this time, I was already a Reiki master. And not that I did anything with it. But then he started teaching me his form of healing, which is more Native American style. And I started learning from him. And then he started making me practice into my intuition and, reading. So I bought some cards, and started practicing with them. And that's how it started. And then I just started reading up and learning about law of attraction and learning about how the universe works. And then I discovered EFT and I randomly discovered somebody teaching EFT for certification on my birthday from the UK. Got certified. Now the reason you ask me, how do I know this person is my twin flame? Because if once I met him and once the breakup happened, it pushed me. It triggered so much crap inside of me that it all came to the surface. All my fears, all my darkness, all the stuff that I needed to face, it brought all of that up. And it changed me. I worked through so much. I did so much self-healing and I still do it. We're not perfect people. We always have healing to do. And I went through that whole process and I discovered that I was meant to work with people and heal them and do readings and help people. And I would have never done any of this had that experience not happened. This was my mission work. You always hear about that. I am an entrepreneur. I run a company. At least that's what they call us, entrepreneurs. I've been running a company for 17 years, which is nothing to do with healing and stuff like that. And I still run it, but now I have two companies, which is healing as well. But at that point, I never ever imagined I was going to do anything else. This was not something that I had planned. This came out of nowhere. I was so shocked when all of this started happening. But now when I look back on it, and sorry about the train again, I just like the space today because it's like the weather is really nice. So I became, if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't be able to work with all of you. And I get so much like internal joy when I work with everybody and help them. And whether it's with EFT or with readings or with shamanic healing, that I know this is what I'm meant to do now. So I just wanted to give you a little bit about my story. I have not spoken, my twin has not spoken to me in 2 years. I have reached out as and when I needed to, but no response. And I don't know what will happen. Honestly, if you ask me, I don't know. I don't know if this is the lifetime the reunion will happen, or if I'm fooling myself. But I just know that at this moment, I don't feel like being with anybody else. I just feel like working with all of you and telling you what I'm going through, and who knows what will happen. I hope for the best. I see a lot of twin flame readers out there who are like, oh, this will happen or that will happen. I honestly sometimes don't know. I hope for the best. And I've started learning how to, because I start manifesting things, I'm hoping things will work out. But I'm also okay with not being. The difference between this relationship and the last one was that when that one ended, I wanted to kill him. If, my feeling was, if I hate you, if I can't be with you, I want to I just want the worst for you. You're the horrible person. And there was so much abuse and so much, back and forth. But I have no negative, of course, when the breakup happened, I was going through my own inner turmoil, which I had to go through. But I have no negative feelings towards my twin. I feel like now when I look back, I like this person needed my help. And I couldn't help them at that point, and now I help everybody else. But that's how I know this person is my twin flame. And I could be very wrong. So honestly, if you feel someone is your twin flame, just compare them to the other relationships you've had. This person went off with somebody else because, all twin flames tends to have other relationships. And I know about it. And yes, it upset me at that point. But if it was my previous ex, I would have never ever spoken to him or wanted anything to do with him, because I would be like, how dare you betray me? And, because that energy was so different. Now I realize he was a karmic partner. It brought up so much shit from the past and stuff that it was a horrible relationship. And now I realize that my twin is my twin because it's okay. If he wrote to me and said, you know what, don't contact me, I'm married with children and I'm very happy, I'll be like, okay, I want you to be happy. And this is not me being the martyr, and this is not me playing a part. Of course I'm going to miss this person. Of course I want to be with them. That's not going to change. But I just want them to be happy. And that's how I know this person is my twin. Because no matter what, it's been 2 years and my feelings have just been strong, or even stronger if that's possible. I didn't think it was possible. So the signs of twin flame relationships are usually, according to what I've seen, is that you meet somebody, you weren't expected them. Sometimes they're of different ages, sometimes they're of different backgrounds, different cultures, different, races, whatever you want to call it. When you guys get together, it's like nothing was keeping you apart. It just happens like that. There's no push and pull. It's not a difficult thing to get together in the beginning. And then there's a random breakup. It usually happens because somebody's getting triggered and, something's happening. My twin got triggered, I got triggered, and, one ran because they couldn't deal with it, the other one. And I know I sort of had that feeling in the beginning because I was like, this feeling, I don't want to get too attached to this person. Maybe we shouldn't even start, anything. So whatever it is, it happens, and then one person usually keeps quiet. Now I don't understand why one of the twins doesn't respond to the other, but I feel it's because there is so much they feel that they just don't know how to respond. Because I am friends with or know most of my exes. Maybe you don't want to call them friends, but if I see them in public or if I write to them on Facebook or whatever, they will all respond back to me. It will not be one of those situations where they're not talking to me, because after a couple of years, who gives a shit what happened in the past unless it was so bad. Even my abusive ex, if he's not, if he says, see, if I see him in public, I'll probably say hello, because I don't care about this person anymore. For me they don't matter. And when somebody doesn't matter, it's okay. You can be friends with them, you can talk to them. Sorry, my computer did something funky. So I think the twins can't talk to you because they just got so much going on that they're just trying to make sense of their own feelings, and that's why they can't reach out to you. But when they do sort out their stuff, they hopefully will, because then they're ready. And that's, you can see so many twins coming into union now. So this is something that happens. So I just wanted to tell you guys that you're not alone. You're going to go through your own, and when what you need to do, and is what I did in this journey, is to find your mission work. Because twin flame relationships always push us to be the best version of ourselves, to find what we are suppressing. I would have never become a healer. I would never become a reader. I would have never done any of this work. And I am so grateful. Even if union doesn't occur, I'm so grateful that I went through this. Because now I'm here, and I'm not the kind of person to be on social media and tell thousands of people my story. And I really hope my twin doesn't get upset about it, but I just have to do it. I have to talk to you guys. And you need to work on your mission work. Work on your own. I did a lot of self-healing, a lot of fears, a lot of doubts came up, and they still come up sometimes. So that's what you need to work on. If you feel you're in separation, send your twin love. Don't hold any negative stuff. If you have negative stuff, try EFT, try other forms of healing, and release that, because it is all triggered by other shit that's happened in your past. And once you release it, start working on yourself. Follow your inner bliss, follow your joy, figure out what makes you happy. This is what makes me happy. This is my mission work. And I would have never known this. It's because once it started happening, it just started happening and happening. And I was just like, okay. And I dropped some stuff in music which wasn't pleasing me, because I'm like, you know what? I don't need to keep doing stuff that doesn't make me happy. I no longer accept anything that doesn't make me happy, because what's the point? Why would I want to live in a life where things are not going my way, where things are not making me happy? Yes, once in a while you compromise, but this is about going further than that. So this has been my journey so far, and I just want to leave you with this message that you're not alone. You're not alone. We're all in this journey together, and we all hope to get what we want. But even if we don't, this person came into our lives to trigger something in you. And if you're being triggered, there's some healing you need to do. There's some issues you need to work on. And in the long run, even if you just clear those issues and become better people, isn't that enough? Isn't that worth it? Isn't that why we're here? So that's just what I wanted to leave you with. Just a little bit about twin flames and my journey and how I got here. I'm just like you guys. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm also trying to figure everything out. And I just want to thank you all for your support and for liking my channel and for booking readings with me. And because this is my mission work, and the more I can help you guys, the more I can get closer to my mission and my twin and my journey. So thank you all, and I hope to hear from you soon. Take care. Bye.